What a beautiful day. Back in pads. Really near and dear to my heart. Just one of my favorite days from high school, Pop Warner, whatever it is. And now we're all the way in the NFL, getting back to banging and playing a physical nature. I would not say today was to the standard that we're capable of. And the practice got better and better as we were playing more physical, the more guys getting comfortable just being back out there, and kind of challenged them halfway through. And we got more attempts on trying to punch the ball out. We got more physical play as it went on. And that's to be expected, but we got to make sure we capture all these opportunities. They're few and far between to get into pads and to make sure that we're in the right place to be able to play game time football. So, but again, just a great day. Offense won the day, so bounced back. Defense took the first two. Offense is taking the last two. So it's starting to even out a little bit. But I can't wait to watch the film to kind of see some of the things I was looking for, especially up front. You know, as we get in pads, what do guys look like when they're in those one-on-one opportunities?
Why would you say practice wasn't up to the standard?
Yeah, just the physical nature that we play with. The way that we're used to practicing, it just didn't start that way. That was really the first period. We had 3 team periods, and right in the middle of that period, I kind of went over to the defense and said, "Hey, you guys drive this thing. Like, we got to show up, and everybody's got to get to the ball." And so they took to the challenge and they responded well. But I want them to drive it, and they know what to expect. They know what to expect from each other, and so I want them to make sure that they take ownership of that part. And we'll remind them as coaches, but we got to have it. That's the way this game is played.
David, an update on Mitch?
Yeah, they tested him. It was an ankle injury. Rolled it up. They're pretty optimistic, but we're going to do a full evaluation just to make sure there's nothing happening in there. But they were pretty optimistic coming off the field, and I'll give you more information as we do the full evaluation.
Coach, having guys like Chad Ochocinco and Steve Smith out here in practice today, what does that do for your receivers and the energy around the building?
I mean, for all of us, these are guys that I grew up watching in Southern California junior college football. And the Sunday paper, you open up the paper, and it was Steve Smith, it was Chad, it was T.J. Hushmanzada, the guys making plays, 100+ yards a game, couple of touchdowns. And I coached at El Camino College back in the day, and so got to be in that world, and some amazing talent come out of there. So it goes way back for me. So when they come out, these are still like my heroes. But I love the support. It's not just the receivers, but the DBs as well. And some of these guys have had exchanges, over the years in the off season. Some of our guys were able to be in Southern California around them. And so I just love the support, and I'm sure that they're, giving them their 2 cents about what's going on. So really glad that they're out here.
You mentioned that from a physical standpoint, it wasn't up to standard immediately.
Yeah.
And there was a fight in the middle of practice.
Yeah.
Can you kind of address what perhaps you liked about that extra aggression, or what you didn't like?
We always got to push things to the limit. This game is played with a lot of passion and a lot of aggression by nature, and we're going to be on edge. That's going to happen in games. We can't cross the line. It just hurts the team, and that's, personal fouls set you back, and 15 yards is huge, especially if it's a special teams play. It really flips the field if you got a re-kick. Offensively speaking, it's going to put you in a hole. Defensively, you're allowing that offense essentially to have an explosive play with the personal foul. So we got to be able to keep our heads. But day one, guys are fired up, words are said, that stuff happens. We just got to make sure you go to the line, you can't cross it. So we had good conversations about it, and I don't think that'll happen again.
During OTAs in minicamp, Jonathon told us he had not yet opened it up.
Yeah.
Has he done that yet, and how do you think he looked first day of pass?
I think that's a question for Jonathon. Only he knows what his body's capable of, and we've seen what we've seen on film, but he'll be able to tell you best, and I'm sure you'll have an opportunity to talk to him here and ask him that to see how he feels. But I don't see any hesitation in his play. He's pressing runs. He's hitting the ground, popping up, so that's what I like to see.
On that fine line between sort of aggression and getting out of control, in year 3, have you found yourself more comfortable sort of walking that line and pushing sort of right to the edge there?
Yeah, I mean, I just know it's a part of the game, and it's something that we have to be aware of. And years and years of being an assistant in different scenarios, these kind of things come up, and the best case of action is just be clear-headed and talk to how it affects the game. And we practice for the game. That's what every rep is about, every situation. And now you're talking about like a potential fight situation, guys are in each other's faces. The first person that throws a punch, you're out of here, and you're gone for the game, and that can hurt your team. So it's a good teaching moment.
On Jonathon Brooks, talk about the evaluation process going back to college and how utilization in the passing game. How excited are you to get him back into that mold?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun YouTube watch if you ever get a second to just go back and, they got a bunch of his plays, and I would say half of them are on screens and, check downs in the flat where he's able to make somebody miss. And, when he gets a beat on it, he can finish. He's got finishing speed. So that's a big part of his game. And, while we know we can utilize that part, first and foremost, he's a running back, and just making sure that he's on the right track. He's reading the runs the right way, pressing the blocks to help his O-line out, stay connected and all that. That's first and foremost. And then all the other things will come off of it.
This was Monroe Freeling's first training camp day in pads. How do you think he fared against Jaelan Phillips in the line?
I have to watch the film. I watched him off and on a couple plays, and he looked good. And he looked stout and all the things you expect. But I can't wait to get into the film and really see how it panned out.
Did you consider throwing Felipe out today for the fight, or did you not feel?
Not at all. Not at all. I think, with Felipe, with anybody else, my conversation with them is always, okay, you got to get your wits about you. Now, if you can't get it together in the next couple of plays, I'm going to have to send you in. And that's kind of how I share with any of our guys. Like, things happen. Okay, are we good? And I'm looking at them in the face, and I'm watching what happens the next time they're out there in the 11-on-11. If they're playing within themselves and not headhunting and trying to do something out of character, then let them play ball. You're going to have to bounce back from different adverse situations throughout the season. And so I want to see guys respond in the right way. He certainly did. Went right back to a special teams period, came back and made another play later on. And so he was able to get himself back together, and same thing with the defensive guys.
Dave, what did you see out of JC and thoughts of getting him back out there on the field?
Yeah, just sprinkled in today, but just watched him in individual. He looks great. He's moving laterally. Really don't see anything, in any direction in terms of just his movement. So I'm excited to just kind of ramp him up and just catch him up to the group so that he can handle his normal load and just get back to work.
Sprinkled in also.
Same with Mike. Felt good. They both had great sessions a couple of days in a row in return to play. So Denny and his crew did a fantastic job just getting those guys ready, and we'll dose them the right way and get them back going.
I view this the tight end position. We were talking about Mitchell, and is it kind of going to be a by committee thing? It's kind of been really the last couple of years. Or are you looking for one guy to step up and be?
Yeah, we'll let them show us. We'll let them show us how we can use them in different ways. But it's a group that we really trust with JT, with Mitch, and with Tommy. A bunch of tough guys who do things right. And, there are other roles in this offense, and we'll let those roles emerge as guys show us what they can do. That's the exciting part about camp, is we get these opportunities in the joint practices and preseason to see if somebody presents something unique for us.
Damian Lewis, can we get an update on him?
Yeah, Damian just had a little calf grabbed on him. Really good evaluation following that up, hoping to get him back pretty quickly. But again, with calves, you got to be cautious because if you try to load it too soon, they can turn into longer injuries. But he's in good spirits. He had a great training day today. We'll keep him on that program for a couple of days and see where we're at.
Rob, do you know when you expect?
Rob's getting better. Yeah, Rob's getting better. I can't tell you it's tomorrow, but he's doing a great job again. Feels strong, starting to move around really well. Again, we'll kind of just keep pushing him off the field in controlled situations before we throw him back into team sessions.
You see the depth inside a guard, with those absences and everything. Where is that group right now?
Well, just to speak to the group in general, a bunch of guys that we know that we're excited about. You talk about Chandler Zavala, who's played a lot of ball for us and has had some challenges, over the last couple years. But he knows the system, a guy we really trust. Sadiq Charles has really made jumps in the offseason. We were able to acquire him later last season, so he's starting to get really comfortable with our schemes, but he's a really powerful guy and he can move. Of course, Brady in the mix, can play all along the front, but really focusing him on the guard spots because we do have that depth at tackle right now. JT Carter, Isaiah Glass, who was working at tackle, will see some guard action as well. So it's a really good young group, some veteran guys that are able to challenge and push each other.
Nick's injury, it's still great to see him on the sideline smiling and everything. How important is that to still have that good energy, even though likely you're not going to play this?
Yeah, as long as we can have him around his guys. He was out there doing some metabolics, moving around, just walking and making sure he has good flexibility and mobility in his leg. If you watch him, if you look over there and you see him walking around, you don't even know. But they're just keeping him in shape and strong. That really helps going into the surgery in that process. And for people who've had ACLs, you know how that is. The stronger you go in, the quicker you can recover. So, but again, having him out there, having him on the sideline around his guys, being involved in football, even after he gets surgery and he comes back to us, the more we can just have him being involved. It's good for the team. It's good for Nick.
Coach,
we're going to have 2 more. We're going to take bad time.
Hey, Coach, Cam Jackson was like a different player in the second training camp. What changes have you noticed in his play and his confidence and his overall demeanor?
Yeah, just being comfortable in the system, understanding how we want certain plays to be executed. And he's a big, powerful man, 6'6", 350 something. Pair all that up with the knowledge of where I'm going to be. The more he starts to anticipate what's happening before the snap, the better he'll perform. So that's what I'm expecting from here for Cam, is to just keep dialing into the concepts. He's going to see some repeat plays here pretty soon in camp to dial in those things so he can take his shots when they're there.
Just Walker seemed pretty stout on the left today, but what have you seen from him during camp?
Yeah, just one day at a time, just being able to just challenge the group, bring out the best in the group. And I just, without getting into any specifics, I'm just excited that, we have a veteran guy that can really just create a level of comfort, as you can imagine, for the quarterback on that left side, where he knows what he's doing. He's been around it all. He's seen it all. As we have different guys popping in at guard, it's really nice to just have that piece there. So, but He's got a lot of great energy, things I didn't know about him and his personality. He enjoys it. He celebrates stuff even when he's not in, and there's a big play on the offense, the first one with his hands in the air. Love that about him. Love that he's bringing that kind of veteran leadership. All right, thank you.
Felt great. It's always good to get back into pads and, you know, go through the off season, go through the beginning of camp, kind of just waiting for this day. You know, there's a lot of what ifs and, oh man, if I had pads on, I'll do this, I'll do that. So it's nice to finally get to be able to do that, and it just brings up the level of competition and feels like real football. So it's always exciting.
Jaylen, Dave said that he had to challenge the defense in the middle of practice, essentially to say, hey, we need to bring the physicality up. How do you think that impacted the day?
I mean, I think it's a good reminder. I think that in general, you know, physicality obviously is the name of the game when it comes to playing a good brand of defense, and you know that's something we want to bring every play. So you know, obviously some parts of it weren't good enough today. So just you know, analyze that, be critical in film, and come back tomorrow with great intention and great effort.
Jaylen, he also mentioned I think he said he wants the defense to drive practice. He told you guys that. Why do you think it's important for your unit to be the ones to set that tone?
Because, like I said, I think like our team in general is trying to play a physical brand of football, and I think that you know when you look at defense in general, you know obviously there's some physicality involved to offense, especially up front. But you know I'd say the best defenses are physical ones, and so you know for us to be able to go out there, drive the energy. You know they always say defense wins championships, all those type of things. So you know I think that it's important to have a vocal and high energy defense, and that's the potential that we have. So we got to bring that every day.
What did you see going up against Monroe Freeling today, just from the rookie with pads on that?
Yeah, he's doing great. I mean, he's really strong. You know, definitely works his hands very well. You know, I think as a rookie, obviously there's always things to improve. I think he's, you know, getting accustomed to the speed, physicality, the playbook, all those different things. But, you know, it's very promising, and I love going against him. I think that he's going to get me better. I'm going to get him better. And so, yeah, he's looking good.
Obviously, to see Jonathon Brooks pre-injury, I just wondered what your assessments are of him as you've seen him a little bit this spring. So,
yeah, I mean, we worked out a lot together this offseason. You know, he's incredibly athletic, fast, works really hard. Him and Chuba, you know, they're kind of inseparable when it comes to their training regimen and things like that. So I think that, you know, them together, they're pushing each other, and ultimately, you know, iron sharpens iron, and competition breeds success. So, you know, I think having them two there is going to be great for both of them.
See him here in the building over the summer, is that what you meant when you would work out together?
Yeah, I mean, we train together, we work out here at the facility. Like I said, him and Chuba are always competing, whether we're working out, racing, doing anything. So, you know, I think that's great by both of them.
Talk to you since things slowly went down. Can you speak to that and the impact on that room and the guys having to step up to fill that void?
Yeah, it's devastating. You know, him and I have gotten very close in the short period of time that I've known him. He's a guy that has an extremely high level of passion and care about this game and about everything. And so you hate to see it happen to anybody, but especially someone who invests so much and loves this game so much. You know, it's brutal, and it's not fair. But ultimately, you know, I've obviously experienced several season-ending injuries, and coming from my experiences, like I literally ran to the locker room to talk to him, because I just know he's the type of guy that is going to be able to handle this adversity, and I just wanted to instill the experience and the wisdom I had when it came to that. You know, I think that ultimately, you know, there's always a silver lining in any adversity, and truthfully, you just have to find it, and you have to have that positive outlook and that positive perspective. And for him, understanding, you know, at this time of his career, he's going to be able to get healthy, he's going to be able to, you know, work on other areas of his body, going to be able to do things off the field that he might not be able to do. And so, you know, ultimately it's a blessing, and you know, he's just got to see it as that. And you know, we're going to miss him, and we do miss him every day. And I'm just excited for him to recover and come back and get back into full form, because he's an absolute stud when he's on that field.
Jaylen, knowing you said you've been through it yourself and talked to him about it, how helpful is it for him to be here and engaged the way he was out here today, just kind of moving around?
I think it's super helpful. You know, being hurt is something that nobody really understands how alienating it can be until you've been in that position. You know, the way football is, we're so regimented and we have to be so present and focused that, you know, if something's not in front of you, you really don't really pay a lot of attention to it. So, you know, as somebody who's hurt, you have a completely different schedule. You know, you're never really around us, whether it's the locker room banter or the warm-ups, the training. You know, there's a lot of closeness that comes from the blood, sweat, and tears that we go through together on a daily basis. And so when you're outside of that routine, it can be very alienating, it can be depressing, it can be just a really shitty experience. And so, you know, for him to be around, I think it's super helpful, just given the fact especially that he's young. You know, we're all very close, like I said. You know, to each their own. First time I got hurt, I stayed around the facility. The second time I went home and spent time with my family. So, you know, I think that he'll have a good mixture of both. And but right now, I think it's important for him to be around and for us to be able to uplift him and vice versa, because he is a special energy that you know, really it's not the same without him. So.
Jaylen, replacing Nick, just can't feel it. Paid his dues in the spring. The last couple of days, what is your first impressions of him?
He's twitchy. He's explosive. You know, he's dedicated. You know, high focus, high energy. So I think he's a great player for us to have in. So I mean, like I said, I'm still getting to know him, but he's a cool guy, and I think he's done a great job these last couple of days.
Question about that mix-up where it looked like Mike Jack threw his helmet there when guys were getting into it.
Oh, I didn't even see that, honestly. I was probably working on some drills or something, so I'm gonna have to look at it on film and ask around. So I didn't hear about it until afterwards.
What about Princeton? Talk about him a little bit, get to know him as a pass rusher. What stands out to you his second year coming up?
Yeah, I mean, Princeton, I think he's probably the best pass rusher on our team. You know, I think that he is extremely naturally gifted, and I think that as he continues to develop, he can be a very special player. I think that he already has crazy attributes, and you know, he's definitely learning. He's young, so I'm excited to watch him grow. He's just athletic. He has crazy bend. You know, really good feel. Pass rushing is an art, and so ultimately, you know, it's very nuanced. It's not just like, oh, run full speed ahead and don't get blocked. It's, you know, setting things up. It's a chess game. It's a, you know, game within a game. So yeah, I think he has a very good natural feel for pass rushing, and I think his ceiling is extremely high. Cool. Thanks, guys.
That's for you specifically. How did that feel?
It felt good. Felt good to be back out there. Just trusting the process that the trainers and coaches had for me, and just ultimately believing in myself throughout the whole rehab process. And it was a blessing to be able to be back out there.
Did you feel any hesitation, contact?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Happily, I don't.
Were you wide open today, running as fast as you can, cutting as hard as you can, by your estimation?
Yes, sir. I feel like I was. I feel like I'm back to 100%, getting out there, having fun with it.
Did you have, were you looking forward sort of to the first day of pads just as another benchmark in this road to recovery?
I think that was a part of the process, yes. I think in the back of my mind, you know, obviously as a football player, you have to get back out there and be able to learn how to take hits, learn how to get your contact balance right back. And, you know, obviously the first day of pads, it was good. I think as a team we could have had a better day, but it was good. To be able to be out there, have fun with our teammates, it was a blessing.
The balance. You have shown an affinity for like being able to kind of juke and out here, even today in pads. Like, what is the process of trusting that knee again and knowing that it's fine to do that, or is it just you have to do it till you can?
I think that was the whole process of rehab throughout the whole year and a half that I've had to rehab and train and learn to do that again. Obviously, it didn't just come back right away. It's something that took a lot of time, something that took a lot of training and a lot of trusting the trainers and coaches, and the plan that they had me on and have me on is great. So it's been awesome.
This is like kind of a big mark, right? Put pads on the game. When you hit marks like that after a long recovery like that, do you reflect? Do you not want to reflect? Like just sort of on the journey back.
I think as a human, you know, it's good for you to reflect, to know where you come from. It also helps for motivation to where you're going. And for me, being back out there, it definitely is a confidence booster to know that I'm fully healed and I can take hits again and I can be out there with my teammates, full speed, having fun, cutting, doing everything that I need to do to help the team.
You had a play late in practice where you made some cuts and I think you ended up on the ground. I don't know if you kind of got knocked down. But are the cuts almost to you more of a validation, or as much of a validation as the speed, running speed?
I think so. I think cutting is a part of a running back's game where you have to be out there and be able to cut. And then the speed portion of it, unfortunately, I know in OTAs I said that I was faster than Chuba. I'm just go ahead and get this out the way. Said that I was faster than Chuba. And this summer we ran. We didn't race. It was a part of the workout, and he recorded a higher top speed than me. So I take my comment back. I'm not faster than Chuba.
You weren't racing.
Yeah.
No, we weren't racing. It was just like top speed on the catapults. Just that was the top speed of the day. We ran like a certain distance, and that's just he recorded that.
That you had to acknowledge that publicly in front of us?
No, ma'am. That's just me taking accountability of what I said in OTAs.
If you knew it was a race, you could have.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to see another day.
Friendships are special. Well, where would you be without you?
To be honest, it sounds cliche to say, but I think I would. I don't know where I would be because he's helped me throughout since I first got here. I came in with the injury and he helped me. He took me under his wing and really guided me how to rehab, how to practice, how to learn, how to take notes, and all of that. And then, especially when I got hurt again, he was right there with me. He helped me throughout the whole way. He was there when I got baptized, and that just goes to say how much we've grown our brotherhood and how close we've gotten. And then just to be able to work out with him this whole offseason has been amazing. Just to see how he trains. He trains pretty hard, so it was good for me to tag along and learn how to build my body right for training camp and for the season.
And what are you expecting from yourself this season? Are you setting goals or?
For me, just wherever the coaches want to put me, wherever and however, I just want to be able to help the team.
Sunday, I know y'all didn't have pads on Sunday, but you got to experience it. Derek Brown called the tackle close. What was it like to step into one of those?
It's different. DB, he's a big dude, but it's good. That's a part of the game that helps me be able to learn and build a course to understand that that's just a part of the game.
Jonathon, you mentioned Chuba and kind of the role he played in your own recovery process, and every time we've talked to you, you talk about how important mentality is, and having been through it twice. Do you feel like you're now in a position to kind of help guys like Nick who are going through something similar, and making sure they're keeping their head on straight through?
Definitely. I check in every time I see him throughout the facility. I don't want to blow his phone up too much right now. A lot of people are probably hitting him up, but I text him. I let him know that God's with him. That this injury is something small to where he's going, and it's something he can bounce back from because there's proof in the pudding, and whenever you trust in God, he's always going to make things right, whether it's on your timeline or his. For me, it took me 2 times to really understand it. For him to set me back and be able, I think it was a blessing in disguise for me to learn more, build my body more, become smarter for the game of football.
Is there a part of you that still wants to get past the being tackled part? Full 100%. Is there part of you in your mind that just wants to get that hurdle over with?
Sort of, definitely. I think that's also a part of the game, also a part of the mentality, part of coming back from injury, especially a lower body injury, being able to be tackled again. And I feel like that would be another confidence booster, getting tackled for the first time.
Do you have an idea of what some of those, in your mind, like some of those benchmarks will be in the weeks and months coming forward?
I'm just taking it day by day. I wanna be able to be focused on each day that I'm in for camp. I just want to be able to be out there, know what I'm doing, help the team in any way I can, and just have my brother's backs.
It was a pretty chippy practice for these moments of progression, including the fight, but also, you and Corey after play, very briefly. What was it like to kind of be in that aggressive mode again?
It was good. I think that's a part of the game. I think that's what comes with it whenever you're playing at the highest level. Everybody wants to get out there, and I think that's good for our team. That goes to show the bond that we've made this offseason working out together. Some of it's friendly and some of it's not friendly on the field and friendly right once you get off the field, and that's just a part of what football is.
Coach praised your work in the receiving game today. With Chad Ochocinco and Steve Smith out here, what were you hoping to take away from guys like that, and can you interact with them at all today?
No, I didn't get the chance to interact with them. I just and I wish I did. I just wanted to stay focused. I really want to be focus on what I have in front of me this year and just stay focused. I think that was pretty cool that they were out there to see two guys like that I've looked up to my whole life and watched growing up. I think that's pretty cool.
You do anything fun this summer besides training?
This summer, I got engaged this summer. I went to Banff, Canada and got engaged. And it was beautiful. My fiance has been wonderful in my rehab process, wonderful in my faith process, pushing each other to be better with our faith and our religion, and she's just been really awesome.
FanFest coming up on Friday. I don't think you've been able to participate in those before. How excited are you just to get out there in front of fans?
That's awesome. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to be out there in front of fans, let them see the work that we've put in all off season, and just to be able to interact with them, see the smiles on their faces, allow them to have fun while we get to work. It's a pretty amazing feeling.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.